Yes, people, we are back for another morning show, aka afternoon. If you are where you are, it might be the afternoon, late afternoon, evening, or even nighttime where Mr. Aussie Goon is at right now. But we got a few things to talk about, and it doesn't naturally mean I'm trying to bait anyone. But you know, Isak has been linked to Arsenal. But we're gonna talk about not how much is gonna be absolutely true, but how perfect Isak would actually be for Arsenal Football Club. And let's see if it's even, I don't know, would you even say it's even something along the lines of anything concrete? Would Newcastle even let him go? You know, we'll dive into that part anyways. We're going to be talking about Spurs. And if you're an Arsenal fan, you know, especially like Guna Lee, you know, who's absolutely obsessed with Szoboszlai, turn away now. Because we'll be talking about Spurs, who's on a similar path to Arsenal's when they were on the up and coming. And then also Man City, I can't believe I'm saying this because this is going to absolutely annoy me. Keen on PEDRO NETO. You know, last summer, he was a target, a real target. Now, he's looking like another keen target. And that is exactly what I don't want to see. Imagine a Premier League where you see PEDRO NETO and Doku running at you on either wing, supplying Haaland. I cannot be bothered. I've had enough of Thanos. Yeah, we need to go steal one of those rings. Yeah, it's as simple as that. One of those Infinity Stones. It's annoying. But yeah, man, what are you telling me, man?
I'm all right, man. Just, we are, innit? It's another day, another video. Fuck United, fuck Arsenal. Yeah, man.
Damn. Like, child, we're trying to do a child friendly.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I love you guys, man. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There might be kids watching, man, even though they're meant to be in school. But yeah, Ozzy, what are you saying?
Same old, bro. You know, work home. Fuck Liverpool. And I don't care who's listening. Fuck Liverpool.
Yeah.
Like literally, fuck Liverpool.
Can I ask, are you watching Australian Open at the moment? Is it big out there? Like, you big on that?
Bro, you know why I'm not? It's because to play for the Australia team, there's a prerequisite. And I'm going to break it down real simple. You got to be past your prime, yeah? Or around the 28-year-old mark for you to actually play for the national team. That's the way it works here in Australia.
Okay, because I'm watching tennis now. I was, but Djokovic is playing one of your boys. And
you're watching tennis. I'm talking about fucking Australia playing friendlies. But
no. See, I was talking about the tennis. Yeah.
Hell yeah, bro. Bro.
Yeah, Djokovic is playing one of your guys now, Poprin or something. It's a good game.
Bro, you know what? I'm loving this tennis, bro. I'm loving this. Djokovic is really, you know, he got tested, man. He's been tested.
He's playing now,
man. Don't be like
that. This is great. This is nice chit chat. But I want to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Big up. Like the video. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, man. I'm tired. If you guys are watching back, to cater for people that are not watching this live, you know, please like the video. Likes go a long way. If you do like the video, please subscribe if you're new. And also check out Aussie Guna. He's in the list of friends down below in the description. So you can find his channel anytime you want. So if you're an Arsenal fan and you want to listen to somebody new, Aussie Guna is there. Same way with Monts as well. His channel is quite hectic with Kiers, Casey, especially when they get rattled. It's absolutely 10/10 sensational content. But yeah, look, let's dive into this, right? Because you know what's funny, right? If we're going to piece bit together. So I remember seeing at Newcastle we're eyeing Dominic Solanke again, and we're talking around 50, 60 million was we talking about, Ty? Remember, only last week, right? 60 million for Dominic Solanke. And with all the FFP stuff, you know, this whole profit, sustainability and all this kind of stuff, I'm not saying it might not happen this month. I never said that it's going to happen this month for Isak to go to Arsenal. Do I think they're going to sell the only fit striker? I only would say they would only do that if there were guarantees, if they're going to make a profit of Isak and that they're going to get another striker in that's just as good. Maybe Dominic Solanke is just as good. Maybe that's someone Arsenal should be looking at, Aussie, right? But the way I look at this, right, I don't think Newcastle sell this, especially this month, considering how much their depleted squad is. But if we're talking about Arsenal showing maybe some ambition going into next window to next season, I believe Isak is just as perfect as getting Ivan Toney, in my opinion. I don't know what you think about him, but other than his being a bit injury prone, he might be cheaper, you know?
That's the thing, bro. Injury prone. And that's why I'm like, nah, I got injury prone. I got plenty injury prone. I got Zinchenko injury prone. I got Tomiyasu injury prone. I got Thomas Partey injury prone. Now I'm going to have a striker.
Wait, let quotations. Injury.
Even Gabriel Jesus is injury prone.
Gabriel Jesus. And now I'm going to get Isak. They're going to be competing on who's more injury prone. No, I mean, nah, cuz, nah. All good, bro. All good. Keep that. Keep that over there at Newcastle, man. I'm not interested in another player that wants to go to hospital, you know? We got rid of Alexander. We got rid of Oxlade-Chamberlain, sent him over to Newcastle, to Liverpool. We got rid of Aaron Ramsey, and now we've got newbies, man. I don't need another one, bro. I need a player who's going to be able to keep up with the pace, a player who can take it. And Ivan Toney's a player that I was screaming about before we even looked at Gabriel Jesus, and everyone was like, who, what, where, how? He's not that good. Now everyone wants him. You know what I mean? I honestly think that it's a move. I think if Arsenal are going to move for a player this season, transfer window now, it's not going to be a big name. It's not going to be. And Isak, to be honest, to wait till the next window and to just put your money into Isak, underwhelming. Most Arsenal fans are going to look at this and say, for how long? Limited time offer, like a polo sale. You know what I mean? You get 11, 12 games, and then he's out for 11, 12 games. And then what? I've got Jesus hanging about. Nah, man. You know how Brazilians.
I mean, you got Nketiah still, maybe so. Still, maybe if you can get a decent 30, 40 million bid in for him.
Yeah, but if I get rid of Nketiah, I get Isak in, right? Then I've got Isak and Jesus. It's like the blind leading the blind. Both of them get injured. Then who I'll put up front? Saliba. I've got two keepers. I might as well throw a keeper up front. Nah, man. I can't have players coming to Arsenal. It's like they could be good. They hopefully won't be injury prone. You know, Thomas Partey wasn't injury prone before he came to Arsenal. He was fine. Came to Arsenal, injury after injury. Isak is injury prone. He comes to Arsenal, forget about it. Forget about it.
I look at this entire right. They need to sell a big star. Whether they can account for the books now and still get it for the summer, so that means Newcastle might be able to maneuver this window and still keep Isak, right? I know you're a big fan of him. Now you always raving about him. I think there's a lack of decent strikers around, anyways, right? But the way Arsenal play, of what we see in the vision of Arteta, if someone's got to suit that front line, you can do a bit of everything. Then other than being injury prone, which he could potentially get over, I still think it's worth a punt because of what the quality that's actually out there. Like who can we can only name a few strikers right now in football that would actually suit someone like Arsenal.
100%. I'll be real. Like, if you gave me two fully fit strikers of Isak and Ivan Toney, I'll be taking Isak all day. Like, I'm no disrespect to Toney. I really rate Toney, and in terms of what level he's at with Brentford at the moment. But I've always had question marks of when Toney steps up. He's 28 this year. When he steps up to like a big top four team, should we just call it that, and he's going into Champions League football, or the quest is on honours. You've got to try and win trophies. You've got to maybe score one in every 2 games, because once he starts scoring like 1 in every 4, people start questioning whether you're good enough. We don't know if Ivan Toney would deal with that pressure yet. He's got the mentality and he's got the personality to want to thrive in that environment. I actually know Ivan Toney's best mate, and he was saying to me how hard he's worked over this camp. I know Ivan Toney's PT as well, and he's been smashing it. Because he lives literally 20 minutes from me. So he's been working really hard. He wants to come back to Brentford and really come back better than what he was before. His motivation's so high right now. Mentally, he's been good. They've been going on holidays together, Dubai and stuff like that with the guy I know. So they've been in a good place. But my question for Ivan Toney is, how good can he be at a top 4 club? Has he got the minerals to upgrade himself, score regularly? I feel like the individual quality of Isak, when I watch him, no matter whether it is, you could put him in a Charlton Athletic shirt, you could put him in a Man United shirt, you could put him in a Newcastle shirt, you could put him in a Real Madrid shirt. You can see the quality he possesses. I think he's just got that natural dribbling ability. He can finish so nicely like he did against Man City. He can take on players. He can hold the ball up. He can run the channels. I look at a player like Isak, and I think he's got the all-round qualities. And I don't even want to gas him up. I was saying a year ago, if he could stay fully fit and carry on doing what he does, I can imagine him being like a Benzema replacement at Real Madrid and being that sort of number 9 that they get Vinicius and everyone running around him. Like, I know people might think, wow, Real Madrid, but the way he plays, that elusivity, that elegance, he doesn't always have to be a goal scorer. And that's why I think if he could stay fit, he would be a game changer for Arsenal. And Arsenal should have got him instead of getting Gabriel Jesus. Like, no disrespect to Gabriel Jesus, you do your thing, but I think Isak was the play instead of Gabriel Jesus, and he was ready to lead the line then. So if Arsenal go back in for him and he can keep fit, they've got a perfect type of player. 24 years of age, we're looking at Ozzy Gunnar. None of this 29, 30.
Yeah, but bro, 24 years of age. Sorry to cut you off. 24 years of age, and he's injury prone. He should be like an elastic band now. Players become injury prone as they get older. You get what I'm saying? He's 24 years old. He's already getting injured. So what happens? He gets to 28, and all of a sudden now he doesn't get injured, bruh. Come on, let's be realistic.
He wouldn't be coming now anyway. Let's call it what it is. Even though Arsenal were linked to Isak, guys in the comments, he is not joining Newcastle. He's not leaving Newcastle now in January. This would be something that could happen in the summer. But if it was to happen in the summer and now he keeps himself fit for the next 4 or 5 months, I reckon you'll have a different take, Ozzy Gunnar, because forget his injury prone for a second. Look at his ability. Do you rate his ability?
Dude, I rate Thomas Partey's ability.
No.
But I was ready to sell him last season. Last season, I was ready to sell him, Thomas Partey. Not this season, last season.
No, what about Isak?
I'm ready to sell Isak now. I'm not interested in players that get injury prone. Look, I'm a black and white person. When I see a player who's constantly getting injured, yes, he's got quality.
Oh,
great players, right? Great players. And you know what? What happened to him? Done and dusted. See you later. Nice knowing you. Thanks for all the laughs. You know what I mean? Oxlade-Chamberlain, another player who was gun at Arsenal, but kept on getting injured, went to Liverpool. Yes, he won a few things, but kept on getting injured. Gun player, but he doesn't make you can't use him as a starter. I can't put my money on Isak.
Ivan Toney's your guy. That's who you want.
Ivan Toney is the guy that I look at that is reasonable. You could go. You want to go stupid? Let's go for Victor Osimhen. He just signed a new contract. Let's go and throw 160 mil over there, and he'd be a perfect run. But it won't happen. So I'm trying to be realistic. I'd love Victor Osimhen at Arsenal. He'd be very suited to our style. You know what I mean? But that ain't happening. 160 million one player. We could afford it, but we won't do it. Isak, injury prone. It's look. He's on paper great player if you take away the injuries. But because he is injury prone, it doesn't matter what he possesses when it comes to being on the pitch. It's about being on the pitch. Doesn't matter where he goes. So unfortunately, bro,
do you know what? This is a question for you and the rest of the people. If you're not looking at Isak, or like say if Isak doesn't leave Newcastle, because like Cass said, it's no guarantees. One of their best players. Him and Bruno Guimaraes they want to keep hold of. You've got Ivan Toney, right? Who is the main target, but you just never know. Obviously, he likes Arsenal. We've clearly said that. But if Tottenham or Chelsea come in with a higher bid or more money, he might be swayed. Is there another striker out there that you
there is
as an Arsenal fan? And Cass is the guy I like.
Yes, it is, and it's the one that Chelsea has over. I know who exactly you're thinking about. Who would maybe cost just as much. Who's doing just as good, but the only issue. And to be fair, he's had experience over in England already. Is that the one you're thinking about?
It is.
Yeah.
Victor
Who are you thinking about?
Victor Gyökeres for Sporting Lisbon, 20 goals, 10 assists this season, was at Coventry last year. He's gone to Sporting Lisbon and he is cooking. He's over 6 foot, strong, quick, mobile, got feet, got a finish. He's the guy that I think, if not people are looking at Ivan Toney, they need to look at Victor Gyökeres, and Chelsea are looking at him potentially. Arsenal could potentially. But it's 100 million release clause, but he's a problem. And I'm just saying, people, if he comes to the Premier League, he'll be a problem.
I think that's the case. What are you saying, once, man? I know you're another one that likes Isak. Typically likes to score against, I would say he's a bit of a big game player as well. I don't think he's one to kind of hide. I don't think, obviously, the reservations is availability at the end of the day. But I still think the way Arsenal set up, I think he's perfect for Arsenal, right? Just for the overall. And if he's going to be your main striker, I think Jesus could be the long-term option that can go left wing, maybe. And then you can still shift it, potentially go that way, that route. But
it's so funny, Cassie, not to cut you off. Sorry, I'll let you go back. But it's so funny because if Firmino didn't leave, he would actually be a Firmino replacement at Liverpool with Tay Fort as well. Like when you think about it, it's mad.
You know what the maddest thing? Because once they were actually looking at Isak, not that when he was at Sociedad. So it's not like that. Yeah, don't you remember? You're looking at Isak time ago, and this could potentially be an Edu mistake. But you know what? You don't get everything that you want at the time, and it's easy to say, it was a mistake. They didn't go get him at the time when he was available, especially for whatever price he was at.
Well, it's because it looked like it was the right decision. Listen, hindsight's a beautiful thing, as you said, because when Arsenal didn't go for him in the end and pulled out, we saw Isak go and get 4 league goals throughout the whole year for Sociedad that season. It wasn't a good season for him. So then a lot of Arsenal fans kind of like, yeah, well, you know, you only got 4 goals, so it doesn't really matter. Now he's come to the Premier League. We've seen his showcase his talent. Me personally, I opted for Isak over Nunes when we were in the market for a striker. I feel like Isak was more of a mold that would help Liverpool's goal scoring wingers. But listen, everything happens for a reason. I think if Arsenal were to go back in for him, it's going to cost them an arm and a leg for someone who's not fit enough. And if you're going to be paying big bucks for a player, availability tends to be the best availability these days. If you look at some of the best players and the talismans, they're always available. Like the Sakas, cool, he's not playing very well now, but he's always available. Mo Salah, always available. Vinny Jr., always available. Rodrigo, all these guys are always immense talents, yes, but they're always ready to go. And listen, I know people say, Saka's tired, or, you know, sometimes Salah needs a rest or whatever, but there's a reason these guys can play so many games, because they've conditioned their body to play at a high level so consistently. And that is a very rare skill for an attacker in itself, because there's a very small amount of footballers that can just not play for 5 games, come in after that and still be world class or still be at a certain level. There's not a lot of players on the planet that can do that consistently. Most footballers need a run of games just to be able to maximize their own levels. And Isak, for me, I mean, what is it? 11 goals in 13 starts this season, and I don't think anyone.
And he's had a spell out. And he's had a spell out as well.
Yeah. So if anyone talks about Isak, I'm pretty sure no one's going to look at him and think he's had a great season. But if you actually look, and I believe it is 11. Is it 11 goals he has? No, it's 10 goals. It's 10 goals. It's 10 goals. It's in 13 starts. Now, guys, take that in. 13 starts, 10 goals, and no one is talking about that. It's Watkins hype. It's Watkins hype. We can't wait for Tony to get back. You know, it's Erling Haaland season. No one's talking about Isak. So
yeah,
he's
true.
going about his business, in my opinion. So I feel like Arsenal, in terms of his play style, you can see he can. Isak, people forget Isak can he also play left wing. Everyone saw that ridiculous assist he got last season, where it was almost on.
Everton, crazy.
Yeah, it was on re-esque what he done over there. Again,
was that last season?
Yeah.
Last season.
Yeah.
Where's the time going? I feel like I'm getting old.
Yeah, that felt like it wasn't even that long ago. But
it's crazy, isn't it? We look season after season after season, you realize, oh wait, I'm actually 30 odd years old now. Damn, where did it go? I'm still begging for my manager to get sacked.
If he plays for Arsenal, if he plays for Arsenal, I feel like that cancels out Kai Havertz, because they have a similar frame, for one. Secondly, does Isak then be deployed as a false 9 or as an out and out 9? Because for me, he's good enough to do both, but I'd prefer him to get on the end of things personally.
Yeah, it's not like it. Like, I want to obviously big up Sean for joining in. I did ask him beforehand, so don't worry, guys. It's not just he wants to join in the conversation. He loves football. But big up Sean, because we will be talking about Spurs. It's funny because Arsenal need a striker, but we could also say, I think it's definite that Spurs also need a striker, right?
That's where I think Gyökeres fits more.
See, this is maybe. The way I look at it is like Arsenal could be potentially missing out on someone like Isak, but at the same time they might not be. Isak, I think he would be the perfect fit. I think Isak might even suit more of a Tottenham. The thing is, Isak moved from Newcastle. Can we truly say that's a step up from Newcastle, or is it a sideways step? Of course, it's a step up. Whether you're a Newcastle fan, you have to recognize your club isn't at where it's needed to be on a big stage as of yet. With all the problems that's going behind the scenes currently right now, as well with the ownership or the CEO or whoever it may be, and obviously the profit and sustainability, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of clubs come lurking for one of your big guns. And everybody has a price at the end of the day, and especially if you need to sell to buy. Imagine if you sell Isak just to get Dominic Solanke, and I think that's a great step, because guess what? That guy's always fit, and I think he's just as good. And I don't see why even Spurs don't go for someone like Dominic Solanke themselves, because if they did, that would wind me up. But it is what it is. Look, everyone needs a striker these days. You know, whether you're maybe if you're Liverpool, maybe if you're Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea, especially obviously Man United. I think I just mentioned them. So yeah, man, that is it. Watch this space at the end of the day. I think Newcastle are just having a bad period as well. You know, I think if they did, I think Eddie Howe as well. The whole point around him is he's going to get sacked. I don't think this is his fault. I think we can literally say that has been down to injuries, why they are where they are. I don't think that's down to management. I still think Eddie Howe's the man. But yeah, look, if they can hold on to their stars, good luck, because I know teams might be circling around Bruno Gomes in the summer with his release clause of 100 million. Might be worth it. But yeah, man, it's a good segue into Spurs, Arsenal, stuff like that. We got Sean here to talk about Spurs as well. Like I saw a video from George Achillia. He posted it the other day, or maybe even yesterday, and he was talking about Spurs being on the same trajectory as Arsenal. And whether we like it or not, I think Arsenal's a bit of a blueprint for a lot of clubs now that want to sustain and go forward as a club. You know, why I say it's a bit similar, Sean, is you got rid of a lot of deadwood. You changed a bit of your back end department. You got like your sporting director came alive, and all of a sudden you're getting target after target, good deal after good deal. You know, and right now I think you're on a similar trajectory as them. And if that's the case, then look where you are now. I think it's a little bit evident. You got a manager that fits the mold, suits the players, and can go forward and maybe even win something.
Yeah. Look, I think Tottenham fans, a lot of Tottenham fans have given our ownership a really tough time over the last, or since the Champions League final. Some people have gone back a lot further than that, but since the Champions League, we've fallen off. And the new stadium was supposed to be this and that, and supposed to generate revenue and be the game changer for us. But, you know, it's taken time for that sort of thing to filter through. And I think there's a combination of events happening right now that really suit Tottenham. One is, like, you know, the world was falling in last March when Paratici got, you know, basically found guilty of all of his corruption stuff. Antonio Conte throws the club under the bus, or the ownership under the bus after that Southampton equaliser. And there was like, we kind of as a fan base were rock bottom. We were pulling each other apart, or like, you know, going after each other for different views. And then everything's kind of since then has seemed to have like come together like Cinderella's slipper. You've got Paratici had his ban, like the consequences of it had relief. We went about getting some new players and new sort of directors in of football and coaching and scouting. I think Daniel Levy realized the error of his ways with some of the kind of knee-jerk reactions with managerial appointments. We've got a guy who plays great football, which I know as much as many Tottenham fans will say we need we're desperate for a trophy. I think deep down, Tottenham fans crave great football as the foundation, the cornerstone of what we do. And that's the kind of the must. And Ange Postecoglou obviously has brought that to us. And, you know, if it hadn't have been so bad, then maybe things wouldn't feel so good right now. But the kind of 180 in trajectory has really got everything going. And then externally, on top of that, you know, Newcastle, I know you were just talking about Newcastle. Newcastle fans must feel like they're 5 minutes, like a day late and $1 short to the party. You know, they've got the wealthiest owners in football, but they've got a bottleneck that's ring tight around their club that they can't get involved in the things that, you know, Manchester City did and Chelsea did before that, because of these, you know, the PSR rules and the FFP rules that are finally showing some teeth. The reason why Tottenham got some of the players we've got in, not only do we have a compelling manager who can sell a story and pitch the vision, but I don't think we have the competition to go after some of these players that we would normally have. I think that, you know, right now there's probably 6 or 7 clubs in Europe that are bigger than Tottenham that are all looking for a defender, not just, and a striker's obviously even more in high demand and short supply. But most of the clubs we're competing with can't afford to drop 30 million quid like that on a player. And I think Tottenham's ownership has to be given the kind of plaudits, give them their flowers for seeing the wood for the trees and sticking to the plan with regards trying to raise our revenue streams whilst also stripping back the costs. We've got rid of, like you said, we got rid of a lot of the deadwood. It was expensive. Hugo Lloris, 100 grand a week. Eric Dyer, 90 grand a week. And we've replaced them with, you know, Harry Kane, 250 grand a week, and the 100 million quid because he would come through the academy. Obviously, that's straight against our
like
FFP.
Dream.
It's a perfect scenario where Tottenham have got wiggle room on their books to go, like FFP wise and PSR wise, to go and spend money. You've got no competition or very little competition for some of these players. Plus, you're reducing the wage bill on deadwood, and you're bringing in players like that guy Dragusin. And we only pay him 50 grand a week because no one else was fighting for a signature apart from Blackburn Rovers and apart from Bayern Munich. And he wanted to come to the Premier League. So everything's kind of like working everything's coming together at the same time for Tottenham. But whether or not it manifests into a trophy at the end of the season, guys, I don't know. I think that we're still probably a season.
I don't think your aim is to get a trophy. I think what you can see already with the club, like you said, the direction you're heading in, you'll accept not having a trophy for the better football. A manager that's convincing players within 10 minutes to join, the Paratici getting good deals done. You like these players. This is what you like. It's like when Man United, I know it's a weird analogy, but we signed Park Ji-sung in 2004 and it was brilliant because he worked out for the team so well, but it was like 5 million back then. And you're finding players like Jagushin and who you're looking for that are not big names, that players that want to come to the club. They want to improve. They want to prove themselves and want to play. So it's like next year is the kind of aim of going for a trophy. It's like when I always said it, Sean, I think I might have been on a show with you. It was like when Ten Hag come in last year. When Ten Hag come in last year, you probably heard me on the show say, look, I don't care about top 4. If we get top 6, but I see a style of play and I see the principles in place, that is what I want. Obviously, he overachieved and got a trophy. He got top 4. So the expectations were risen. But I was like, damn, in a way, we're now a year ahead of the curse. Now the pressure's on him. However, this year, if you get top 4, but don't get a trophy, but you do a deep run in the FA Cup, it's like, cool, do you know what? I can see what's happening. But next year, that's when you want to sort of maybe go for a domestic cup and then build your squad. But it's exciting.
Next season,
I'll be real.
The
Spurs fans I work with have said they're the happiest they've been in a long time because they said win, lose or draw, I'm going to watch games at my stadium where the fans are happy. We're going in, we know what we're going to see.
Yeah, no, sorry, mate, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I 100% agree with you. And like I say, next year, I think is the kind of, we'll see where we're at. This year, we're ahead of expectation as well in terms of what we're doing with the league, but we'll see what happens. But, for me, I think that, I don't know whether or not, I personally believe if FFP and PSR continue to go in the direction that they have, then I think it won't just be Forest and Everton that are in trouble. I think that there's going to be a lot of fire sales that will happen before the end of June in this summer. So there'll be, a lot of early business going on with clubs that do have the teeth, do have the kind of wallet, the deep pockets to go and do things. And a lot of the clubs that are around us that don't might get left behind. So Tottenham have positioned themselves favorably to go and get a Santiago Jimenez and Isak, whoever.
Yeah, I think Jimenez, for Feyenoord, good option. That's something you do. Do you know what? I've got a question for you, actually. Because a lot of people, like us Man United fans, me and Cass, say we need this in the starting 11. You've got your centre-back now, Jagushin. You've got, obviously, Romero, and you've got Van der Ven. So you've got 3 very good, competent centre-backs. And also, Jagushin can play left and right. Now, when you look at your starting 11 going into next year, or your 15, your core squad, you've got your centre-back now. What positions other than a striker do you want as a Spurs fan? Because I'm intrigued to see if you think the same as me. So obviously number 9 would probably be obviously a preferential, but is there anything else away from that you're ideally like, right, we need this, and this?
Yeah, I've got question marks over our forwards. I think that Perisic was played his last game, so he'll be gone. I think that Manor Solomon was signed as a business deal, really, as a free transfer. And I think that if someone came in for 10 million quid for him or something, I think we'll take that because it's just profit. And I think that we need a little bit more help on the left wing. I think we need someone. And like I'm happy for Tottenham to go. Well, no, I think he'd have to put in a really good shift over the next 6 months to make that deal permanent for me. I think it's just a stopgap. Which I'm happy for, but I think Tottenham might go and get someone young like an Antonio Nusa from Club Brugge, someone like that.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
I hope so. Well, that's what I'd like to see. Someone
that
plays that kind of, because I think Tottenham don't have a fear factor.
To get the biggest names, you want to get the 35 millions in.
Yeah, but I also want, in terms of a character of a player, I think Tottenham have got like 7 forwards, 7 wingers, and none of them really do what I want in a winger. None of them really kind of put that fear factor against the opposition.
Would you take Pedro Neto, even though we think to Man City? Because I've always rated Pedro Neto, and I think he can play left and right. And Cass remembers, I always said ages ago, I said Spurs should get him.
Yeah, no, I'd love to see him. Just someone that, like, when you see him on the pitch, the fans are out. The fans are on the edge of their seats, and the defense are kind of going.
Do you know what it is, Sean? I respect Richarlison and what he's trying to do. Obviously, he's playing forward. Get rid of it. He's a squad player, right? But look at Brennan Johnson. I'll be honest, Brennan Johnson, you work hard, but your final product, Brennan Johnson, is I've got a better final product than Brennan Johnson. No disrespect. He's got the speed.
No, I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
His final product is poor. Heung-min Son, obviously, he can play up front at the moment. He can play on the left. But when I look at your winger,
mate, we need to think beyond him.
Yeah, he's getting on. Exactly. Timo Werner, you know what is his loan, so you just got to take it as it comes. I just feel like the final product of your wingers is not like what a James Maddison is in terms of the final pass. And I feel like you need a winger that can give you a final product, because otherwise you can have all this ball retention, create these chances, but if it's missing or the final ball's not coming off or over hit crosses, it becomes frustrating. And I think you need someone that can actually deliver the final finish or the final ball. I think that's what you're missing in the wingers.
Yeah, I was going to say this, by the way. Yeah, obviously tit for tat. This is all cute and everything. Next season's a different season, and this comment up here is where I need to see if Ozzy or Monts come around. By the way, before we do that, please, guys, 250 of you in here and not even on 100 likes. Please, I know it's the morning. I know there's no football on, and I know it's all dry. We're trying to provide conversation as well as anything. You know how it goes. It feels like a international break, you could say, yeah, because it does, yeah. Spurs talk show, like things are going on for other clubs, obviously, respectively so. So obviously it's going to be a little bit different, but please smash the like button. It goes a long way, and subscribe if you're new. Not even on 100 likes, the bare minimum should be at least 200 likes, in my opinion. So everyone that has done so, I appreciate you a lot. And also you can go, if you're a Spurs fan or you like the way Sean talks and you like football in general, you know, you can go check him out in the description below. You know where it is, or you should do. If you don't, it says more if you're on your phones. If not, then you can scroll down on your computers. I was going to say this then. Look, this comment came up here, and this is why I say it's all cute and everything. Andrew, we found out just like Arteta, only 2 managers are managers above all in this league. So does anyone have any reservations that Spurs could be found out? Maybe a lack of a plan B. Have we seen a plan B as of yet forming potentially? Does anyone feel like when it comes to next season, we've seen this same old story before, or do you reckon this is actually a difference, you know, within Tottenham Football Club?
Ange, look, with Ange, when it comes to younger players and his team, he usually can bring up, he's usually a good manager to bring up any team from, say, like the ashes, right? He's good at that. The only thing is with Ange is he's hard-headed. I know someone else who's hard-headed too. London club as well. Fucking funny story, that is. He likes to do things his way, right? His way or no way. Thing is, even when he's wrong, and this is coming from an Australian, don't forget what Ange did for Australia, right? Now, don't get me wrong. He has been successful in the Premier League, and I think he's doing great work at Spurs. I just think to myself, and I've seen it. I saw it again when Spurs are down. Like Spurs should be defending instead of attacking. They're up in a game where, you know what? Let's park the bus a bit. Ange is still going, and I've seen this before. And I'm sitting there, I'm going, come on, man, not now, not this shit now. You're sort of representing Australia a little bit here. Hold on a bit, bro. Hold on. Take your time with it. But the old Ange keeps coming out. Just gonna go for it. Yeah, gotta, give it a whirl. And stop fucking around now, man. You're making us look like kickies. Seriously, man. We're not all like that, you fucking wanker. Like, seriously, bro. Like, come on, mate.
That was so good.
Because that's what he's doing. And I'm looking at him going, I'm like, dude, what are you doing, bro? Like, you know better than this. I know you know better than this, but you're still doing it. I'm thinking, and you're doing it in the Premier League, you fucking idiot. And don't get me wrong, exciting football from Ange Postecoglou, you will get that. I hope that this is a good stepping stone for Ange, because as a fellow Australian, I want him to progress as a manager. You know what I mean? If he's going to do it at Tottenham, unfortunately, he's wearing the wrong colours, so I'm not going to go for him. But at the same time, I don't want him to fall on his ass. But it's going to be his choice to fall on his ass. So I think he needs to humble himself a little bit and realise that he's got some players there that he can work with. But sometimes just going forward isn't the only answer. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to go and try and take the game to every single team. We're going to go out on our sword. This is not 300 or whatever it is, bro. This is football. It's 3 points, bro. Yeah. You got to get over this shit, bro. I know you're Greek, but relax yourself.
One thing I did see against Man United, he did decide to bring on another centre back, and he did decide to shut up shop, like, and take the point. If anything,
yeah, but but against Man United, he should have been doing the opposite. Against Man United, he should have been going at you guys. Should have been going for your freaking throats. Spurs should have been walking over Man United in that game. It should have been 4. He's making the wrong decisions sometimes, and that's what gets to me. But I'm hoping in time he's going to start making the right decisions just for the Australian flag, right? And I think he's going to be able to set a standard at Spurs and a foundation. because he's not going to just go out there now and allow Levy to throw a couple of players at him and that'll be it. Because I think we all know how Levy is. He's got a bit of money now from that Kane transfer and he's throwing it out there and it's like, oh, we're spending. Wait a minute. Next season, is he going to be a tight ass again? Because that's unacceptable now. That's not fair to Ange. You know what I mean? This guy's making things work. Back him for fuck's sake.
I think we're only two or three players away from having a squad. I don't think we need another, 150, 200 million. I don't know how much a striker is going to cost in this market. Like, I personally think that these FFP and PSR rules are going to end up with a bit of a deflationary transfer market because the ability for football clubs to raise revenues is one thing, but the inflation in the transfer market, like average players now cost 50 million quid if they happen to be from England because of the homegrown rule. It's a madness. And that's why clubs are getting in trouble, right? So I feel like there's going to have to be a little bit of a deflation. But in terms of Tottenham, I agree with what you're saying about Ange. I just hope that we don't need to spend another 200 million. I think one striker, one young direct forward, and maybe a midfielder, and Tottenham should be okay.
Ange won't go and buy 4 or 5 players like that. He won't do that. You know what I mean? He work with the budget. He's not stupid like that. He knows how to work his money. So he might come in and say, you might have next transfer window where he does spend decent on a winger, but just that one winger, and then maybe another defender to back you up, or blah blah blah, an up and coming, just a youngster. And some people will think that's underwhelming. It's actually not. That's Ange making the right move.
I disagree. I think in the summer you do need to spend another 200 million. Like, you already have spent roughly around 200 million. Bar the Kane, obviously you got money out of Kane and stuff like that. Blah 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 blah. I think you do need to, because the market's the market. I don't think 100 million solves your issues, because I think it goes down to what Ralph Rangnick kind of said about Man United. You don't need 4 windows or anything more to go and solve your issues. You can get it done in 2 or 3 windows to change your whole scenario. I think you do need to, because the striker's going to cost you an arm and a leg if you want something serious. The thing is, I said this about Arsenal yesterday. We compare Arsenal to Tottenham because you're from North London. You are rivals. But if you think Tottenham's going to finish above Arsenal or not, who gives a damn? It's not a trophy. To you guys, it might be. But the way I'm looking at it, you do need to spend 200 million. You know what that is? That's showing ambition to the fans. This is what is needed.
We're talking Levy here.
Spend that again.
Because I think you still got Deadwood you can get rid of, right? I think you can get rid of Richarlison's. I think you can still get rid of Perisic's wages and stuff like that. I still think you can still get rid of a couple players here and there.
If you're raising money, obviously that gets
raise your revenues. But I do think you still need to spend another to get a squad of what you want to be. If you are to be in the Champions League and actually cook the way you need to cook and go win trophies the way you want to win trophies, you got to spend. You can't just think that every deal you're going to get or every player's going to get is going to be a hit either. You have to go get something a little bit proven at the same time as much as profile. Do you get what I mean? Like, I think
I'm coming at it from more of like a financial perspective. 200 million quid is 40% of what Tottenham make.
But you still, what about the whole Kane situation? Like, you made 100 odd million off of him. I think you could have some leeway in the market.
We've already spent 50 on Brennan Johnson. Right? We had to pay for Pedro Porro, which was 40. Dejan Kulusevski, which is 25. This guy Dragusin, which is 25. I know they're getting amortized over a longer period of time, right? But we're still paying off the debts. You're still amortizing players that we bought from before. I think Tanguy and Ndombele is still going to cost us, 10 million in amortization, let alone the 10 million in salary. And that guy's Deadwood. There's so many kind of variables that you have to bake into when you're figuring out what the budgets are. And Tottenham are a club that generate more money than most and I think have one of the lowest wages to turnover ratios in the Premier League. But if the rules are going to continue to be enforced, and if you're an Everton fan, you want to hope that everybody else faces the same consequences for breaches as they're going through and Nottingham Forest are going through. I'm not sure that you can spend 200 million pound in one year and then 200 million pound in the next when your club's only making 500 million quid. I don't think that's reasonable. You do have to kind of keep one eye on the bigger picture.
I just feel like, I don't know if anyone tipped for tat in it. I thought you need to show a bit of initiative and a bit of ambition, because it's nice going through a season of nice football, but then there's being complacent. And if you're going to be complacent and think this football's going to work forever, and also these players are going to be under like the spell of Ange's man management forever, then obviously you're mistaken. Doesn't mean you can't get.
I just think they just need to be. I think it's Spurs is smart of 150 million, for example, which I think is more realistic. They get a striker.
Still near 200 million, though. But striker's going to cost you an arm and a leg.
Yeah, so I think if they get a striker they kind of want, or one that's going to be a difference maker for 3 to 4, 5 years, you're going to be looking at 60 to say 50 to 80 million for a consistent striker. I think they want long term. Then they're going to maybe want 2 or 3 more players. So let's say 130 million. if they spend it right and they get the right 3 or 4 players in, and get the odd 35 million players, which is what I look at Spurs being good at the market for, then I think they can be fine. Because at the end of the day, on top of what they're going to do in signings, they've got a coach that we can see that can coach. And that's the best part about it. You're not coming in and, trying to get players that you're hoping will turn into something. You've already seen it proven that no matter who Ange has at his disposal, when he's missing the Basuma, the Madisons, the Heung-min Sons, he can coach his team. So if you can get a main striker in and say, right, who's going to come into the starting 11? Because what I think Spurs need to do is look at starting 11 signings and who's going to be in the 15-man squad. The number 9 needs to be the starting 11 person, and then they can get the 35 million players that are going to be rotating with Kulusevski's or doing this and that, and that's where Ange can coach him. And I think Spurs will be good because he's got that harmony. Then there's no egos, there's no someone's on 300 grand a week, and you've got people like Alexis Sanchez walking into the club. Then all of a sudden the bar set high. I think Spurs are doing it right, man. I think they're doing it right.
They are doing it right. Monts, you could probably say it's a bit like what your club were doing. At one point, at the start, when you was getting rid of a lot of dead weight, you started bringing in some good profiles. And then that's before you started bringing in
Solanke, Brad Smith for 12 million, Jordan Ibe. I remember when they cut Michael Edwards was a G.
Yeah, but it's a similar thing, but you want to show ambition.
I mean, we were laughed at for a few of these things, but again, that's another conversation to have. But I do feel like, now
then when I saw you getting that money, then I thought, boy, Michael Edwards.
Yeah, but not that wasn't always the narrative at the time. And you know why? Because we weren't winning anything yet and we were losing in finals. So when those things happen, it kind of overshadows the what we call the genius that's happening behind closed doors that you've clearly highlighted. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that in the early phases, what Tottenham are doing is always going to be lauded. I personally think they're onto something special if they can utilize what the tools they have right now,
capitalize on the crappy clubs
and build on it. But there's going to come a time where Spurs are going to need to start winning, as well as having all of this, all these positive, the spending, the signings, the play style. Yeah. I think right now, because the expectation for Spurs was nowhere near what we're seeing now, I think Spurs are in a great position. If things go left, they're ahead of schedule anyway. If things work out, Ange is a revelation. So I generally think Spurs are in a win-win situation. If I was a Spurs fan and I'm hearing noise from United fans, I'm hearing noise from Chelsea, I'm not hearing it. I promise you I'm not hearing it, because the trajectory is a lot steeper than people think. It is very rare. With all the managers now that are being signed to clubs and the way managers are getting hired and fired and the amount of money that's being pumped into football, for a manager to come in and implement his style so successfully, we don't see this very often. And it's evident because of how many managers are getting fired and how many ins and outs there are at the top of the game with the most money, with some of the best players. And you've seen a guy come in, he's come from Celtic, he's Australian, he's not Spanish, he's not European, he's
a winner, by the way.
You know what I'm saying? He doesn't speak with a fancy accent and does the if they play, where they play. There's none of that. There's none of that. You know what I'm saying? This guy's come in, no one knows him like that, and he's just come and shown up most of the Premier League. He's shown up most of Europe with what he's doing. So if he builds on that, this is a big example, and he can easily become the blueprint as to why.
Oh, you took the words out of my mouth. Yeah.
Blueprint as to why managers like Poch don't deserve the job at Chelsea. It's a bit like
the Bournemouth manager. People are now looking at the Bournemouth manager saying, "Look, Iraola, no one knew about him, but now he's cooking at Bournemouth."
Because listen, obviously, but listen, you can see it that way, or you can see it in the way that, well, okay, you're talking about all these managers that people aren't so familiar with. Why did Potter fail? Why De Zerbi might be a risk. Ten Hag, one okay season, but look at him now. Even though he had more notoriety. Fair enough, but for me, it shows it's definitely possible to take a risk on a manager who already knows what he wants. So I think Spurs are, for me, they kept their players fit. They'll be right up there with City, Liverpool, and Arsenal. Their players are fit.
I think that Ange thing, though, right, is going back to. Sorry, I'm not sure of your name, buddy. What's your name?
My name?
Yeah, sorry.
Steve, Aussie Gunner.
Steve, yeah. I think going back to what Steve was saying about Ange's sort of ego and his hard-headedness, I think that helps, right? He's come in from a sort of, no disrespect to Celtic fans, but he's come in with that us against the world. Everywhere I've been doubted. But he's like sometimes that hard-headed ego thing where he's got absolute confidence in his own ability helps. I think if you're going to look for the next manager to come from a relatively small league who's had relative success in that environment to come into the Premier League, you're also going to have one eye on whether or not his personality can handle the jump up in expectation, because Ange obviously does, and it might get in his way sometimes with his hard-headedness, but ultimately if he had a little bit less hubris, then maybe he wouldn't be able to handle that kind of next step up. So I take your point, Mark. On the looking outside of the usual kind of ecosystem to find the next good manager, but you'd have to also be double checking that the guy has that absolute faith in his own ability to handle it.
You know what? I think it's a cheat code anyways. You know what I think is a cheat code? It's because how do you even hate on Australians? So man management is already done because Australians, whatever they say, is funny. So already, it's a cheat code. So man management ticked. You just have to say one line, like, I don't know, kangaroo in a Barbie or something like that. And all of a sudden it's funny. But I don't know. Anyways, look, I think Ange is doing sick. Ange is doing sick. His koala buddies are doing all right, even if as average they are. And yeah, man, he's getting the best out of them. The last thing we're going to talk about is that team that looks like they might be doing a 4P. Who knows? Let's say they do go and sign somebody. It's funny that they ain't actually got anybody just yet. Calvin Phillips might even be staying. I saw him actually linked to your club, Sean, to be fair. A loan, it might cost you something along the lines of like 4 to 6 million quid just for the loan. But he might be set to stay at Man City for the rest of the season. I think it'd be I think it'd be wicked for Tottenham. But actually be wicked for my club. I need a DM.
Yeah, I was about to say, man, like, dude, what are you talking about? Look at you.
You can't go over the water to Man City and say, yeah, you know what, give me one of your players. But
maybe it's like here we are. We are your betters. Here, take our scraps.
But somebody,
who are you talking about? Calvin Phillips.
Yeah, he was linked to your club the other day. But Pedro Neto. Now, this is not allowed to happen, people. You need to understand this. Pep has done this thing again where he's fooled people into thinking centre-backs can do up full-back positions 24/7. And he's literally pulled over people's eyes saying you don't need take-on type wingers. And all of a sudden, he goes aside Jeremy Doku, who loves to beat a guy. And now he says, you know what? I'm going to take the only one probably left in this league at this moment. And his name is Pedro Neto. Now, if that happens, I don't know what supply is going to happen to Haaland, but that's going to absolutely annoy me because these lot like to do this front post cross, left foot or right foot. And they can play on either side. That makes it even worse. And then they got that other young baller that come on and scored against Newcastle, which looks like he's going to be a bit of a prospect. A little bit like Anthony Nusa. But yeah, man, Pedro Neto to Man City. Now, Ty, not allowed to happen. Don't care. Don't know how. Don't care.
I really don't want this to happen because do you know what? There's something about the Premier League that I think's gone. And when you look at wingers like this, Pedro Neto can play left and right. 1v1 demons. They always drive with the ball. They can get it from the halfway line and run with it. Everything that I wanted Anthony to be is what Pedro Neto is. That is literally how I look at it. Everything that I thought Anthony would hopefully come in and be on that right wing is what Pedro Neto is. He can come in, travel with the ball, take on players, cut in, produce a final ball. The only problem is, obviously, he is injury prone. And this year and last year, he has been struggling. Obviously, he came off the bench last night for Wolves in the FA Cup, and I thought he would start. But ability-wise, there's no question that Pedro Neto definitely has that. It's just whether, like Ozzy said about Isak, when you've got the ability, can you stay fit? Maybe the beneficiary of being at Man City is that they have enough quality that if he's not fit every game, that they have the Phil Fodens, they have Julian Alvarez, they have Doku, they have Grealish, they have Oscar Bob. They've got 5 players already that can play in them sort of positions or interchange. And that's just like Man City with the defenders. Look, we were talking about it last night with the centre-backs. Man United are linked to De Ligt. But at the end of the day, we're not in a position of Man City where they've got Gvardiol, they've got Aki, they've got Akanji, they've got Diaz, they've got Stones. They've got 5 potential starters, but they all rotate and they all get game time. So if you throw in Pedro Neto to Man City, he's not going to be doing what he's been doing the last 2 years for Wolves, which is you're the number 7, you're starting every game, and that increases your volume of potential injuries. Man City might do what they do. They start you at home against Everton, but midweek, okay, they're away at Club Brugge in the Champions League. Oscar Bob or Julian Alvarez or Foden or Grealish, you're going to start. And what they do, Doku even, and they rotate. And then what it does, it keeps everyone competing for trophies. They're all happy because they're all supporting and winning games, and they're all getting game time. So for me, if Pedro Neto goes to City, I think it'll be a brilliant signing. all because he can play left, he can play right, he's Premier League proven, and also instead of just having that technical sort of ability in a player which City love to have, they've got players that can now take the ball like Doku and Neto that can drive with it. It gives them variety. And this is what we said about City. Like, look, I respect Man City, right? And everything they've done. But this year, I feel like they've lacked creativity. Now, I don't know if people will agree with me. They've still won games and they're still competing for the title. But they have lacked that creativity. In some games, they've just got over the line or you've been waiting for a bit of brilliance. KDB come on and showed it the other day. He came on, great goal, great assist. They've lacked that creativity, and Pepe said it. Now, Pedro Neto can create. So then it gives them another weapon. Or like you said, Cass, another way of feeding Erling Haaland. So for me, if it's not Pedro Neto, the type of signing they're looking at, I think it works because they like that unpredictability. They want someone that can drive with the ball. And with his age and the potential, all it is for me is injuries. The ability is there. Ability to play left and right is there. Ability
Who better to take over the reins? Who better to take over the reins of Bernardo Silva if he potentially leaves as well? You know, the one that's quite silky with it. No one can replace Bernardo. Let's be honest. Like it's a bit hard. The guy is an anomaly right now in football, and he has been ever since he's joined them, pretty much, right? But if you're going to get someone that's quite nippy and everything, I think Pedro Neto is probably that guy for them, or even a Michael Olise potentially as well.
And you know what it is, Cass, as well. Like I said on that point, I think the key point for me with the rotation is that when you're competing for so many trophies and you're not coming in as a guaranteed star, you're happy to accept that you're rotating because you're still getting games, but you're not coming with that Kylian Mbappe aura. Obviously, I respect Mbappe; he's a bad boy, of course, but he would be like, I want to start nearly every game. Like he's coming, and it puts pressure on the manager because it's like, shit, I have to start him. Whereas Neto, if you're starting him or starting Doku or starting Grealish or starting Foden, they all know their role, and it keeps people happy. You don't want someone.
They're not allowed to hold all the good left footers in the world, man. They're not allowed to. All the good left footers, they just want to keep around their team. I understand it's not fair, but yeah, Mons, man, baller settings. Maybe someone that you would
shout Cass as well. Look, someone even said Liverpool Neto.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. To be fair, it's the same thing. Right wingers are going to be in demand at some point, you know, as well. They already are in demand. What were you saying, Mons? Yeah, they already are in demand.
Cass, what were your thoughts on
it? Obviously, I'd want him for Man United all day long. Like I have wanted him. I don't care if he's injury prone. I've got to watch Anthony week in, week out. It's bollocks.
Nah. You know, if you're gonna start him, come on.
You know what? I think most clubs have been linked to him. I've seen Liverpool linked with him at one point. I think even David Ornstein came out. He was linked as a target for Man City. So there is something there of interest. I think even Arsenal. That's probably somebody that would actually probably be really good for someone like Arsenal if you could play left or right. I think he's a different option to what Arsenal don't really have in the lineup. But again, I think Ozzy's Goon is going to say the whole thing
I've got a question for everyone here, yeah? I just see one comment and now it's just spanned to me, right?
Go on.
If you man had the options, yeah, even if you want to rank them, what are we saying? Because I'm thinking about the levels. Olise, Bowen, and Neto on the right wing.
Bowen.
Bowen, number one.
Listen, understand. Listen, aesthetics. It's all great and that, but when it comes to someone who's doing the job for the least attacking, for the least. By the way, the least. Ignore Paqueta for a second because I know Paqueta's creative and he's going to help you. But Paqueta has only come in like this and last season. Bowen has hit double digits GA before Paqueta's come in. So before anyone wants to give Paqueta attacks, Jared Bowen has gone up top and done the damn thing when. Everyone knows at West Ham you have to be a warrior and feed up. As Steve said, feed up nothing, bro.
He's 27 though.
Prime age.
I don't listen.
And again, people look at it like
but he's still doing it.
It's not everyday youth boofing youth. It's not every day. Sometimes
even your body settings.
I like this question, you know. Hey, Cass, run a poll.
Someone go and get. Listen, Bowen here again. Even with in transition, in possession, this guy very low shot.
Back.
Bro,
Bowen's the most.
You know what? Are you months? Yeah, because if you look at Man United, me and Cass, I guarantee me and Cass are probably not picking Bowen. But because where you are, Liverpool, you're competing and you're at the top of your game. Is that because you want Bowen because he's just ready-made?
No, not at all, bro. Not even just because he's ready-made. Why are people acting like 27 is 34?
No. I just don't think Bowen. I just don't think Bowen.
But I'm seeing in the chat he's 27, 28. Bro, do you know what that means? Less inconsistencies. Because if Neto.
No resale value. He's signing on a 5-year deal. You're not going to get a reseller.
Yeah, you don't care about that.
You're not trying to sell him. You're trying to use him to win.
Bowen's the most complete player. Bowen's the most complete player. But if you're looking, like, depends on where you are in your project. If you're looking for the next,
course.
I'm not taking Bowen out of them three. I don't think.
No, you know what? It depends.
But I
who you
understand
support.
why
That's
Monts
not
would.
because
But
we
I understand why Monts does.
Right,
That's why I
right.
get
It's
it.
not
Yeah,
because
but-
we share the
Yeah,
same
but my
love.
guy
That's
made a
not
good point there. Where you are on a project.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's where you.
it's true.
Yeah, I get it.
But
Yeah.
I think, you know why I think even if you're in a project where you're trying to get your resale value or you're trying to raise a slightly more youthful squad, you can't have 3 youthful attackers. You need 1 out of your 3 to have the know-how to know what to do when it needs to be done. Because if all 3 of your attackers are under the age of 25, I don't care how good they are, they're gonna have shit moments, very shit moments. Saka's one of the best youngsters we've seen in years.
That's why I'm interested to see who Aussie would take, because Arsenal are trying to get to that point where they're competing. So Aussie, when you look at it, you're not Liverpool right now, but you want to you're like a season away in your heads, or
Already
the
said
some fans' heads. Who would you take out of them 3? And then Sean.
I already said Bowen.
Oh, you're Bowen as well. Okay.
I was already, bro. Me and Mons were in sync with that shit, bro.
Yeah.
How about this? How about this? I'll take Musa Diaby over all 3 of them.
Hell no.
Yes.
Nah.
Yes.
Nah.
Hey,
You're
you know
too
what? You
rash,
should.
man. I can't do
Take
that.
him.
I think I'm a
Take him. Take him.
It's yours,
No,
man. Deal.
No, you know what it is? It's because you know
No
what
one
it
on
is?
the panel wants him. Take him.
You know what it is with me, yeah? You only can look at it for your respective club. What does Man United lack? We lack creativity, we lack pace as well as much as anything in an attacking threat. If there's one that
But you think
all
Neto's
3 of them,
better than him
all
at that,
three-
though, technically?
all three of them that don't no, but Musa Diaby's technical as well. The thing is, he's playing as a second striker, not even off the right. All three of them lack something that Man United need the most, which is an outlet. We don't have any outlets. And that's the issue. That's why I say it. But if you're Arsenal, you don't need pace potentially. If you're Spurs, I don't know what you need. You probably need some. You probably take anything.
Sure. Who would you take?
Yeah.
I'll take
Where
any
you
of
are?
them. I'll take any of them. I would probably. Yeah,
Kudus.
crazy. I really like. I really like Jared Bowen. I think he'd be brilliant at
Wow,
Tottenham.
Bowen as well.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you need another goal
Thank
scorer in your
you.
side. The thing is,
Yeah,
though,
that's true, Cass. That's great. They need a goal scorer. You're right.
the thing is, the way I look at it is like Pedro Neto is injury prone, but the thing is, West Ham are going to quote you 100 million again, and it is depending on where you are in your project. That's a very good key to point out. But if I had to choose out of them 3, for me, who's going to cost the least? Right, probably Pedro Neto by about 10 million. But who would I actually?
Elise's got a release
who would
clause.
you
hasn't he?
want? Who would
60
you
minutes.
want?
Yeah, I want Elise. Give me Elise.
Yeah, same. So the Man United, yeah, okay, we're in sync on that, but it doesn't mean that
I need a little
I
something
get why
different.
them 3 say Bowen though.
You know what it is? 100 million at Manchester United equals failure right now as it stands. But if they, do you get what I mean? Whereas Liverpool, I can see why Monts likes Jared, but not because they share maybe a similar name or something. But I'm just trying to say along the lines of the same name.
Yeah, I didn't even clock that.
They need to replace Salah in terms of goals at some point when he does move on. And who's going to be the guy that's going to get you goals right now out of all 3 of them? They need a bit more experience. They've got a youthful side as it is. So I hear Monts' point. You know, Spurs need extra goals more than I think Jared Bowen will be absolutely mint for Tottenham. But what does he go from West Ham to Tottenham? I don't think so.
Never goes to Tottenham. Never in a
I'm
million
saying
years.
right now, I know it's guys. I know it's from
Come
a
to
Liverpool
Arsenal, you know, we got
I know it's
the
from a
Liverpool
Liverpool
gone home.
standpoint. But
You
I know
can get him.
I know it's from a Liverpool standpoint, innit, Kaz, innit? But I think for Man United, Bowen, he will cook for Man United. He'll cook for Liverpool. He'll cook for Chelsea. He's better at full. Apart from Liverpool and Arsenal, he's playing right wing for most teams, you know.
No, yeah, I hear it, but Monts, you're missing
Yeah,
out
but
one
once we
key
could
thing.
even throw him up front if you had to.
Yeah, bro.
That's the thing. You could throw him up front and he'll do your job.
He's doing it for West Ham. So
You can't do that. You can't do that.
Man, I'm quick to talk about Declan Rice's class at West Ham. Declan Rice wasn't even the guy in that final. Jared Bowen wrote. People understand what he was doing, what he's been doing for a shit West Ham and a better West Ham.
I can't lie though, man. You're missing. You have to add context in this part as well. Yeah, I'm not being funny, but wearing a Man United top is heavier than a Liverpool shirt, an Arsenal shirt, and Tottenham shirt as it currently stands. When it comes to pressure and you have to deliver, and everyone's looking at you, trust me, you are going to fail at Man United right now.
Elise, so you think the shirts? So out
No,
of all
no,
the players to
because
wear a
I
heavy
don't-
shirt, you're going to pick Elise and Neto over Bowen.
No, but you know why I say that? Because the price is going to be lower and the expectation is going to be lower than someone that's going to cost you 100 to 110 million. They're going to be costing half the price.
You're just throwing a band-aid at an open wound, man. You guys are bleeding out. It's like, just throw me a band-aid. Why? Because it's cheaper.
Just get some
You know, and there's not much of an expectation it's going to save me.
Jared, sorry if I'm going to just
Get me
thingy.
duct
Jared Bowen's price is everything that's wrong right now to do with Man United. The price alone is wrong, not the profile, but the,
you know
the
what it
price
is for me,
alone.
Cass? It's
Yeah,
not
but
even
that's
about
the world
price.
we
For
live
me,
in.
it's the ceiling of the player. I feel like out of the three, Michael Olise has that Riyad Mahrez sort of feel that he's got the ceiling to go higher. I know Bowen proven in the Premier League and he's consistent in what he does. He doesn't excel in anything. I feel like Michael Olise's got that.
Yeah,
that
how much
flair,
better
that
is Bowen
elegance.
gonna
His
get?
ceiling's higher. I feel like his ceiling.
No, but Bowen, but the thing is, you can't put money on how much goals someone can score. I don't know if Olise can score
agree.
10, 15
No,
goals in a
I
season.
hear that.
Maybe
I
10,
hear
15 assists, but Jared Bowen can, in a better team like Liverpool or even Arsenal, or
You
even
really
maybe
think
even
Bowen's
Tottenham the way they
£100
play.
million?
I don't
think
think no, Sean,
I
he's
don't think
not.
he is.
But what he's worth to West Ham, he's probably 90
No, that's what I'm
million
saying. But you
pounds.
really,
Like,
you really think
Grealish is not £100 million player, but to Villa, he was worth that. But really, he's a £60 million man.
so? If,
Yeah.
if Liverpool came in and offered £70 million to West Ham in the
I
summer,
think
you don't
that's
think
a
West Ham would
stretch.
take it?
They'll
I don't
reject
think
it.
they'll take it. I don't know.
You
if
reckon they
they'll
reject
take
it?
He
70
signed
million?
he signed a death row
Yeah.
contract.
I think of it
They
like
want
this.
80 million. Sean, they want 80 million. They want 80 million.
Think of it like this, yeah.
That's not happening no more. That's
So
not
They want 80 million.
So for Paquetá, right, or Paquetá, I don't know how to say his name properly. The commentators change their minds every week. They were quoting him 80 million, and I know he only had just signed he only just signed
Who
for them.
goes for more? Who goes
They
for
were,
more?
they were talking 80 to 85 million. So how much are they going to
Yeah.
quote for someone that's their main outlet of goal threat, and also that's also English, and it's also of a prime age of 27 years of age right now as it currently stands? It's going to be 100+ million. They'll probably even ask for more, in my opinion. And installments, I guarantee they want it in about 2 installments too, because they know you'll pay up because there's a lack of right wingers out there.
They're going to want their money up front. The thing is, on the chat, you see everyone saying, Bowen's not going to get better. Bowen's not going to get better. Does he need to? He just needs to go to a better club, and then
No,
he
I
will
don't
get
think he
better.
needs to.
Because
I agree.
he's been fed scraps, and he's been performing, right? And I look at it like any club that's at that point right now, they need a winger, they need a striker even to just finish off their squad. They're not looking like, oh, we're worried about resale value. We just need someone who can put it in the back of the net as long as you've got supply. He has got bugger all supply right now, and he's putting the ball into the back of the net.
Yeah.
Imagine that a team that can actually play to his strengths somewhat, support him somewhat, even if it's Spurs, even if it's Arsenal, even if it's Liverpool. He's bound to do better. So he won't improve, but he'll get better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think he can. I still think Bowen can take up. I think when there's always a club to take it like a step up, right, from West Ham, which isn't that hard in this day and age. Let's be real. Whether it's to Tottenham, whether it's to Liverpool, especially Liverpool, anyways, or even Arsenal, I think your output naturally should also get better as well, especially with the way someone play. I think he suits Liverpool to a T, and I think he can get 20 goals for Liverpool in literally in his first season. In my opinion, the way they play, especially after they get a DM, and especially people forget. Bowen has something that I believe that is better than most of these guys. He's got a better engine, and he works hard. The basics.
The only question mark I'd have, right, is
I think Neto has a very good engine and he works hard.
He does, but he can't last 90 minutes because he's always injured.
I agree with that.
Bowen's the most fit out of all of them as well.
Yeah,
He's got second win. He's got that second win trait.
And
Do you know what I
also
mean?
the most robust as well. He doesn't, obviously he's injured now, I get it, but he don't really get injured a lot.
And he's got the best shot out of all of them as well, to be fair. Like, let's be real. Like, he's just a goal threat.
all three of those players, right?
We'll
all three of those players are playing for teams that traditionally are doing low block and then are breaking, counter-attacking. If you put all three of those into a Liverpool, into an Arsenal, to a degree now, even into a Tottenham,
dominate, who would be, yeah.
Are they going to be
Michael Olise for me suits the most team that's going to have the ball the most, which is why
you look at Brennan Johnson, right? Tottenham dropped 50 million quid on Brennan Johnson, and the only noticeable thing about his game at Nottingham Forest was that he had amazing pace to get in behind.
I've been saying it.
Yeah, since he's been at Tottenham, we haven't faced, and his best performances have been against teams that have played against us.
Because when he has time to think on the ball and you're dominating the ball, his final product is poor, Sean, as I was saying.
100%, right? And so I guess it's a huge risk to know whether or not Bowen, Olise, or Neto are they going to transition to a
Bowen
team
would
that
suit Liverpool maybe because
down.
they play on the transition more, Liverpool, and they like the balls over the top, so all the quick transitions. Whereas Mahrez, the Olise, he suits them. Pedro Neto maybe.
But Ty, we also have a lot of possession. Our possession stats are just as good as anyone else in this league. So we also have to play a lot of low blocks. So I personally, I think I'm right. I think you're right. I think Olise is probably suited to breaking down low blocks out of all of them. But in terms of if you're gonna get one shot and you need one goal, I know which one out of the three I'm picking.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
On that note, Cass will wrap it. Perfect.
Yeah, man. Make sure you look, if you like the way Sean talks and you like Tottenham, or you just want to tune in Spurs talk show, Sean in the description. You don't be lazy. Also smash a like on the video as well. Aussie Gooner, same thing as well. If you like the way he talks, if you're an Arsenal supporter and you've never heard him before, go subscribe over there as well. Same thing. This is going to go to Big Six Bants over there. We're going to talk about something completely different, me and Mons and Corey. So do go over there. And I'm probably, if it's about Man United, I'm going to moan. So there you go.
Big up,
So in a
guys.
bit. And we'll be back later
True.
tonight for, I think, a Chelsea segment at 8:30. Yeah.